Mr. Schweitzer, and I'm here to show a little video on how to use a pipette. More than likely you're going to be doing a lab coming up soon that's requiring you to use a pipette, and this video is going to show you how to use it, and I'm kind of expecting you to be able to use them when you come to lab. So a pipette is used to measure out a very precise quantity of a liquid, usually small amounts. We have a couple different types. I have one that I use the most often is called a graduated pipette. It has lines on it to measure multiple different volumes. I have a volumetric pipette which only measures one volume. This one, in case there's a line here that measures only to 25 milliliters. And then my last one is a small little plastic pipette just used to transfer small amounts of liquids, not very accurately, although you could do drop-wise to get some amount of accuracy. So let's just go ahead and start with the graduated pipette. And I'm just going to walk through how you use this thing. This thing is essentially a straw. So all of us have used straws. You draw air up, essentially reducing the pressure above it. Therefore, atmospheric pressure will push down the surface here and then pushing the liquid up, just due to reduced pressure. Okay, now a graduated pipette has multiple lines. In this case, this is measuring 10 milliliters. So the maximum amount I can measure this would be 10 milliliters. The device I'm going to use to draw the air up, in years past, decades past, pipetting by mouth was very common. You would simply suck up the amount of liquid you wanted. Not very common today, at least not in high schools. So this is the device. You simply roll the wheel to draw air in and increase the volume, therefore decreasing the pressure. That's referred to Boyle's law. Or if I wanted to equalize the pressure, I can hit this button to let air in. Alright, so let's just say I want to measure 3 milliliters. Easily done within the range. This thing is going from 0 up to 10, so we're good to go. And push that on there. Now 3 milliliters is not that much, but I like to grab my finger in the bottom, and I know I want 3 milliliters, so I'm just going to take more than I need. That's just my technique. I'm going to take 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I'm going to pop this thing off here, and I like to use my finger as a mean to control how much I'm going to dispense. I only want 3 milliliters, so I have to hold the bottom here. Again, whenever you're measuring, you kind of want to be perpendicular to the line. So I will bend over a little bit just to kind of see this a little bit. Alright, now as I move my finger, I can kind of get an idea of how this thing dispenses liquid based upon finger pressure. So I'm going to just let it drop to, in this case, to number 4, and watching the meniscus. There we go. We stopped right at the meniscus. And if I want 3 milliliters, 4 plus 3 would be 7. So I got to go from the 4 down to the 7. So there we go. Transfer to my new liquid, or my new beaker. And I am going to simply release some pressure from my finger. I'm now at the 5, so I've dispensed 1 milliliter. Now I'm at the 6. And before I get to the 7, I'm going to start testing it just to see how this thing slows down. And then as I get close, I can nudge it ever so delicately. And right there, the meniscus is at 7. And I now have 3 milliliters of liquid in my new beaker. The rest of it can go back in the container. As far as safety is concerned, leaving a pipette in a beaker like this is discouraged just because it can tip over. I'd want to wait till it drops out or use my plunger to push the rest of it back in there, and I'd be good to go. At this point, I would just set it down along the side and I would move on with my lab. The only difference between a graduated and a volumetric is that, well, the volumetric only measures one volume. So from the tip to this line is 25 milliliters. I would draw up the liquid with some sort of device, and I would dispense the entire amount. Whereas a graduated one, you'd only dispense between lines. You'd never dispense the tip. The volumetric one, you dispense the entire thing. That's an important difference between these two. The plastic pipette, on the other hand, some will probably use a lot more, just uses for transferring small amounts of liquids, whether it's for qualitative or quantitative amounts, meaning just general need some liquid or drop by drop. That's what this is used for. Generally disposable, we will clean them and reuse them when we can. So how to use a pipette to transfer liquids, to measure liquids, an important technique in chemistry.